Alright guys, in this video I will show you how you can set up your project so that you can start writing tests with Selenium. The first thing that you have to do is click File, New, Project, and then you select your output folder. So I have made a folder Selenium WebDriver on my desktop, but you're free to do it with wherever you want. And I'm going to create a new folder inside this folder because I have several different projects. So I will call it Setuping Your Environment. And I will select this folder. Then I will call my application with the name Setup Environment. And you have to select a console application in C#. You find this under the Windows in Visual C#. You select it, you press OK. And the best practice in this case is that first you delete all the unnecessary stuff from the originally created file by Visual Studio. You delete all this, and you also delete these, because you simply don't need them for our case. Then you press Ctrl A to select everything, and then you press Ctrl K and then D. This will auto format the code for you. And you also have to rename the file here. Right click, rename, and you rename it to entry point. And you also rename the class to entry point, and you save it. Now, why are we renaming it to entry point? This is a very good practice because the original name program.cs tells us nothing. When you start creating bigger projects, you will have more than one class in the project, and you will have to know which is the class file that initializes everything else. Where is your program starting to run from? That's why we are calling it entry point. If you don't like the name entry point, you can use any other name that you want, as long as it says very clearly that this is the starting point of your project. Now, the next thing that you have to do is that you should include the Selenium libraries in your project. You do this by right-clicking on your project, and then you go to Manage NuGet Packages. Then you click on Browse, and here you write Selenium, and you install the Selenium WebDriver. It takes a few seconds. Then you install the Selenium support. And then you install Selenium WebDriver.Chrome driver. This is the driver of the browser that you're going to use. If you want to use another browser, you simply install the driver for your browser. And then you close the NuGet because you don't need it anymore. And you always have to initialize your driver. You do this by saying iWebDriver driver equals new Chrome driver, and you will get an error, 2 errors to be precise. To fix them, you click on the words, let's call them words with errors, and you click on show potential fixes, and you press on the first option, using OpenQA Selenium. The alternative way to fix this is again by clicking on the word and then pressing Ctrl and dot and enter. It's exactly the same thing, but in the first way you do it with the mouse, in the second way you do it with the keyboard. The last thing that I'm going to show you here how to do is how you can open some page with the driver that you have just initialized. You do this simply by saying driver.navigate, go to URL, and inside the brackets of the go to URL method, you should provide the URL that you want to open. In our case, this will be our testing website, which is at http testing.vachev.com. And after that, we're going to create a pause of 3 seconds so that we can see the page. Otherwise, it will close it too fast. And then we are going to close the driver, quit it, like this. And we have another error here because we are missing another using statement. We're going to include it. And let's run this by pressing Ctrl F5. It usually takes a bit time every time you first start your projects, because it has to build it, it has to find everything that it needs. So sometimes it's very slow the first time, but only the first time. You can see that the web page opened, and after 3 seconds it got closed. Alright, move on to the next videos to learn more about Selenium.